The last thing I wanted to address is lower back pain. Okay, so we haven't really talked too much about aches and pains during this time, but something that I've heard from some other people is back's hurting, and no doubt there's a good chance that you're doing more sitting if you're working from home, sitting in a place that's not your office or your desk. So maybe at the table, maybe the kitchen table or bar, maybe your couch, or maybe even your bed. Okay. First, I'm going to say, please, here, try to create a standing desk area. Because so even whenever I'm working from home with my laptop, I get a tote or a laundry basket, put it on the table, the kitchen table, so I can be in this position right here. Okay, so you can control that. Some of you are working with bigger monitors and stuff like that, but let me just say, if you are using your laptop, don't be working from your bed. That's a horrible position. Legs, like you're kind of like sinking into your bed here. We want to be able to get upright, okay? The couch is kind of the same thing. You sink into the couch, you're in this hunched position. But even if you are working from a desk, you're probably not, or maybe, hopefully you're getting up more than you would if you were at the office or your normal workplace. But there's a good chance that you're not. You don't have to walk across the campus to get to a meeting, or you don't have to go meet up with somebody to discuss something. So it's really easy to be sitting down. And a lot of times what happens when we're sitting down, knees bent here for long periods of time, hamstrings are getting tighter. Then when we straighten out, when we do get up, those hamstrings are super tight, pulling on our lower back. So 2 things that we can do to help with this, besides standing up, walking, moving, being strong. 2 things that we can do to help us if our backs are bothering us. One is going to be stretching our hamstrings. Okay, if those things get super tight, if we can spend some time stretching, I'm talking like 90-second stretches. Any elevated surface, chair, the table, ottoman, toe up, flex towards our knee, and hinging, not necessarily this big rounding thing, but hinging forward to isolate a stretch on our hamstring. Another way we can stretch our hamstring would be lying on the ground, using a belt or something to pull on our foot to stretch that hamstring. Sometimes we use a band when we're at the gym. Okay, so hamstring stretch is one thing that can help. Okay, like I said, 90 seconds, super long stretches, not just 20 seconds. Okay, then the next thing that we can do is stretching our hips and glutes. So sometimes, again at the gym, use a plyo box to do that pigeon stretch. Okay, so that's something that you can do on your, well, don't tell my wife, sometimes I use the kitchen table. She's filming now. Busted. So sometimes I use this right here. This ottoman is pretty nice for this. That pigeon stretch, my knee's coming down. My lower leg is parallel with the edge. I try to get my foot parallel with this edge as well. Okay, so hanging out there, again, you can hinge from the hips from here to add a little bit more stretch on that glute and that hip. Or something that we've done in the past too is just a traditional pigeon stretch that we do in yoga, pulling that foot through. I'm not great at this movement, but you would maybe want to get that lower leg perpendicular to the rest of your body. I think if I worked at it for a little bit, I might be able to get into that position, but I'm feeling that stretch in my glute and in my hip. So hopefully by problem, we're sitting, things get tight over here, we stand, they're tight, they're pulling on our lower back. So let's spend 60, 90, maybe even a two minutes per side on a hamstring stretch and a glute hip stretch, and see if that helps relieve some of that lower back pain.